Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, I feel an eruption coming on. Eddie Van Hazy is a 5.6% West Coast Hazy IPA from Rockford Brewing Company in Rockford, Michigan. I couldn't even tell you how many Rockford Brewing beers that I've had, and I'm honestly surprised that this is the first one that I've had on the channel. Now, I saw that this one was coming out, and it obviously caught my attention because not only is it a West Coast style hazy IPA, but because it's got this awesome label. But before we get into the label, I'd like to thank my executive producers, Eric Latowski, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, and Zach for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, and maybe even just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/draft_therapy, where you can get early access to these videos, exclusive patron-only live streams, and a few other special perks available only to patrons. So let's take a look at the label. You can see from this label across the top, we'll start with the very obvious things. Across the top, it says Eddie Van Hazy. It has all these kind of stripes all over it. You might notice it's very reminiscent of Eddie Van Halen's guitar. The guitar that he played always had his signature kind of striping pattern across it. On the front, it's black and white. If you turn it around to the sides, it has a red, black, and white design. On the back, it says Rockford Brewing Company, established in 2011 with the fly fishing lure. And then underneath it, it says, might as well jump into this West Coast Hazy IPA. It ain't the worst thing you've seen. And then on the side, it has the government warning, the independent craft beer logo, and it says, visit us at rockfordbrewing.com. Brewed and packaged by Rockford Brewing Company in Comstock Park and Rockford, Michigan. I am only familiar with the Rockford Brewing location. I've never been to the Comstock Park location, but I'm sure that'll be forgiven. So, yeah, this is on the side. It also says alcohol by volume 5.6%. It's kind of hidden on there. It's a little easy to miss if you're not looking for it. There's no canned on date on here, but because this is a West Coast style hazy IPA, I'm going to use my IPA glass. I was going to say West Coast Hazy IPA glass. Don't have one of those. So as per usual, we're going to go ahead and crack this open, take a sniff out of the can, pour it in the glass, get a sniff out of there, and see what it does. So go ahead and crack it first off. It doesn't smell so West Coasty. It has a bit of a dankness, but it also has a tropical and citrus aroma. Getting a little bit of a mango on there. Again, a little bit of a dankness. I'm interested to go ahead and pour this, so let's go ahead and do that. It's coming out pretty clear out of the can, just out of the stream out of the can. As we pour it down the center, it's collecting a little bit more hazy. This is obviously a 12-ounce can, not a 16-ounce can. And we're looking at about, wow, there's some if you can see from the overhead, there's like a little yellow spot in the head, which is I've never seen before. But I'm getting about, generously getting about a finger's worth of head. It is a white head. If we hold it up to the light, it is hazy. I mean, that's pretty hazy across the top. The bottom of this glass kind of thins out the actual like look of the beer, but seeing a nice stream of carbonation up from the bottom. And yeah, that little orange part on the top of the head there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little orange spot on the top of the head. Smells like a regular New England style IPA to me. I'm expecting, because they've put it out there, that it's West Coast Hazy. That makes me think that it's going to have a bitter hoppiness to it. But enough with the talking. Let's just try it out. Cheers. Very interesting, because it has some of those New England style kind of vibes in there, right? So I'm getting a little bit. Let's start with the mouthfeel. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. The mouthfeel itself is refreshing, not super crisp, not super light, but it's a little bit lighter than medium. It's a little bit on the lighter side of medium. Let's talk about the taste now. So what I was saying is, it's interesting because it does have qualities of both kinds of styles. It has qualities of a New England style and it has qualities of a West Coast style IPA, but I don't think that it's quite as bitter as what I would expect from a West Coast style IPA. But let's take another drink and talk about it. So on that first taste and on this taste, I do get a bit of a tropical kind of flavor out of it. I do get a orange kind of zesty flavor out of it. There's a little bit of an orange juicy kind of quality going on. and it's 5.6%. Like I said, I have to look at this again. 5.6%. Yeah. That's not super heavy. So this does pack a lot of taste into a really kind of low ABV, especially for, again, I say this all the time, but nowadays, 5%, anything under 6% is almost considered like a light style, because there's so much stuff that's 6% higher. 7% seems like it's like the starting point for most IPAs these days. But back to the flavor, I'm getting that tropical kind of fruity flavor. I'm getting a little bit of an orange juicy flavor, a little bit of an orange zestiness in there as well. But while most West Coast style IPAs or most New England style IPAs have that smooth kind of hoppy bitterness, this isn't a punch in the mouth kind of hoppy West Coasty bitterness, but it definitely has has a hoppy bitterness in there. I almost said a West Coast hoppy bitterness. It's not quite strong enough for my tastes. I wouldn't necessarily go out and say that this is a West Coast style hazy IPA, right? I guess, hazy IPA can mean one man's hazy IPA could be another man's New England style IPA, could be another man's juicy IPA, or woman's, not judging. It's not inclusive, but or exclusive, I guess. I don't, whatever, however you use that. But what I'm getting is I'm getting that there is a bit of a kind of a New England style reminiscent flavor up front. And then on the finish, there is this a little bit more intense, hoppy, citrusy bitterness than what you would normally get out of a New England style IPA. So I can understand using the whole kind of moniker, using that West Coast Hazy IPA. But I think you're not really you're getting half of each, but you're not getting all of either. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're getting a little bit of that New England style kind of sweetness and kind of like tropical flavor. And then you are getting a little bit of that hazy bitterness on the tail end. And I don't know if you, haziness, a little bit more of that West Coast orange, zesty bitterness on the tail end. And I don't know if it is, I'm sure it's like the hop combination, hop profile they use, but I'm not sure if maybe if it was higher ABV, if you get a little bit more of a bitter flavor out of it. If they went a little bit, if they could go a little bit sweeter. I do think it is a good descriptor to say it's kind of in between, but I think that it's a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say deceiving, but it's a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, but I would just kind of expect, reading something that says West Coast Hazy IPA, that it would be really on that super bitter scale. But what we do have here is just a really nice kind of easy drinking New England style IPA that has those West Coast bitter qualities. I don't know if I'd go so far if I were the one packaging this or making this to say it's a West Coast style hazy IPA, but it does have great flavors. It does have a lot of flavors, especially at 5.6% alcohol by volume. It has a lot of flavor. It's definitely full flavor. It's not something, I don't feel like I got cheated on some kind of flavor because it's not a higher ABV. So it definitely has that going for it. If you are looking for something a little bit out of the ordinary to maybe step out on a limb, or if you are maybe a West Coast style IPA fan that doesn't like New England's, you'll probably like this one, and vice versa. If you are a New England style IPA fan that doesn't really appreciate the West Coast style IPAs, I think that you will get, it's like a bridging beer between those two, but I feel like it's not really strong on either side, and it's just kind of, it's middle of the road on either side. But as a new thing, I think it definitely has a lot of flavor. So if you're looking for something that's low ABV with a lot of flavor, you can't go wrong with something like this. All right, friends, that has been Eddie Van Hazy from Rockford Brewing Company. What do you think about hazy West Coast style IPAs? Have you ever heard of that before? And what do you think is the next style change for IPAs? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.